fellowship, but the time is now 6 p.m. It's time to get our meeting started this evening. I'd like to thank you all for coming out and participating in your local government. Today is February 1st, 2016. This is the regularly scheduled meeting for the Board of County Commissioners for the County of Suwannee. I have asked Commissioner Larry Sessions to lead us in the invocation and the pledge. Please rise.
Please bow your heads. Dear Lord, be with us tonight as we conduct the county's business. Make us good shepherds of what we need to do for our county and for the state. And be with us in the decisions that we make and give us wisdom to carry out our responsibilities properly. Be with our first responders and those here in our country taking care of people, get them home safely tonight, and especially be with those in foreign lands fighting for our freedom and protecting us. In your name, amen.
Amen. Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Commissioner Sessions. Just a few issues before we get started here. If you would like to comment under the comments and concerns section of our agenda this evening, there are cards, actually 8.5 by 11 pieces of paper in our foyer area. Please fill those out. You can bring them up to me or Mr. Musgrove here, and we'll consider them under that portion of the agenda. I'd like to ask that you silence your cell phones, Commissioners. Turn off your vibration as well. There have been a couple items that we pulled from the agenda this evening under not general business, but back up underneath of the consent agenda. We're pulling item number 8. That one will be pulled for consideration in a future meeting. And under general business, we're pulling item number 16 for consideration at a special call meeting next week. More details on that to come. Moving back up under approval of minutes, January 12th, 2016 workshop, and also the January 19th, 2016 regularly scheduled board meeting. Gentlemen, are there any corrections that you would like to see to those minutes before they're approved? Hearing none, I just need a motion for approval.
Motion approved.
Second.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Fleming, seconded by Commissioner Gamble. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Moving into the consent area of our agenda, as previously stated, item number 8 has been pulled. Are there any other items that a commissioner would like to pull for individual consideration?
Mr. Chairman, number 9. I just got a question about it.
Commissioner Gamble is requesting number 9 to be pulled. Are there any others? Hearing none, I need a motion for approval for items 2 through 7 and 10.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Wainwright, seconded by Commissioner Fleming. Is there any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Item number 9, we'll give our attention to Commissioner Ricky Gamble.
On the agenda item page, description, Sable Trails, Inc. has offered the county $3,000 payment for temporary use. But when you go to the first page of the contract, under section 4, it says in the consideration of the sum for $10 or other valuable consideration.
Mr. Pravat can speak to that.
Typically, you don't have to put the total amount of the consideration there. You pay, you're not going to be paying the taxes and stuff on it anyway. So it's just whatever the number is, the number is.
I just wanted to make sure that wasn't something that was overlooked.
No, sir.
Do I hear any, are there any further questions? Do I hear a motion?
Move approval.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Wainwright, seconded by Commissioner Gamble. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Moving into commissioner items, there are none noted unless there is a commissioner who would like to add one of those items.
I'd like to bring up something tonight.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
What would you like?
Tonight, we have an absent county administrator. And in the future, if this happens again, we may need someone to step in. So I think that we should be thinking about having an assistant county administrator to perform these duties if the real administrator is not here.
Okay.
So we can discuss it later or not, but I think we need to think about this.
Okay. Anybody else? Comments, concerns? Commissioner Sessions, I'll put that on a future meeting agenda to discuss, if that's okay with you.
It's fine.
All right, anybody else?
Yeah, I'll just give the board a quick update. Several meetings ago, you asked me to sit on the committee for Twin Rivers
yeah.
State Park. We had our meeting, I think it was 2 weeks ago. Basically what happened was they've acquired some more land, the Damascus tract. They had several plans of operation that were being applied to several different tracts, and they wanted to combine them all, so they operated under one set of guidelines. So basically, they had a group of the involved parties, some citizens, and we come together and just rewrote, we didn't rewrite them, but read through them and approved their new plans. I just wanted to bring the board up on what we did.
Is there any, do they anticipate any further meetings or anything like that, or is it?
At this point, no, but they did leave some of the wording open-ended so that if other tracks came in, that they could be added back into it without having to have these meetings, so they could move forward with it.
Did they give a total amount of acreage out there in any way, shape, or form?
Yeah, I believe it was about 15,000 acres. It runs from around, but the south end of it's around County Road 250, the other side of Dallin Park in Lafayette County, and it runs about up to the Georgia line, following the Suwannee River, then up the Withlacoochee River.
Excellent. Any further questions of Commissioner Gamble regarding his time spent at that meeting? Hearing none, thank you, Commissioner Gamble, for doing that. County Attorney Adams, do you have any that?
Not anything that's not agended.
All right, thank you, Mr. Pravat.
Thank you.
Now we'll move on to staff reports, which is item number 11 on your agenda. And item number A, or subsection A, is Catherine Allen. She's our Extension Office Director, and she has sent a substitute in lieu of, and maybe you give us your name and title and all that.
My name is
for the record.
Karen McGalliard. I'm Catherine's assistant. She's teaching tonight, so she wasn't able to make it to the meeting. She usually teaches every Monday on a rural leap. I just wanted to share several events that are happening at the Extension office. One is the Rural Leap, which is a 2-year weight management program. It started again, this is their 3rd year of doing this, which is why I'm here, because Catherine's actually teaching at that class tonight until around 8 o'clock. Today we also began our Spin Club, which is a disc golf 4-H event that happens at Heritage Park. It's every first and third Monday of the month through May 2nd. This is open to all kids. It doesn't have to be just the 4-H kids. On February 5th, there will be a Small Farms Academy at the Suwannee Valley Agriculture Extension Center off of 417. Carolyn Saft, our horticulturist, will also be doing a commercial growing mushrooms workshop there during that academy. On February 8th, there's going to be an orchid pruning shop. On the 9th, there's going to be a Native Plant Society meeting in Branford, and that's also the day that we'll be having our volunteer appreciation luncheon at 12 o'clock, hoping that all of you guys can attend that. On February 11th, there's going to be a milk quality transition cow and labor relations meeting, which is the brochure that I handed to each one of the commissioners. There's also some flyers in the lobby if anybody is interested in that. On February 16th, there will be a growing vegetables and container workshop at Heritage Park and Gardens. On February 18th, we'll have an organic gardening presentation at the Liebach Library. On February 24th, Catherine Allen will be holding a Serve Safe Foods Manager course at the Extension office. On February 26th and 27th, we'll have our 4-H county events. This is where 4-H members participate in the events. They'll go on to district and state events after participating in these. Friday night will be the share of the fun, and then Saturday will consist of public speaking and narrative demonstrations. We're working on the upcoming 4-H summer camp. At this time, we're going to have a quilt in a week, a baking camp, a clover bud, and a dairy camp. These are week-long camps for 4-H children, but any child can attend these camps. You do not have to be a 4-H member to attend them. And Catherine Allen and Kathy Rogers are working with the County Extension Director in Columbia County on financial literacy classes. And the materials for these classes will be provided by a grant from the Suwannee Valley Economic Council. On March 4th and 11th, we'll have pesticide classes at the Research Center off of 417. The business retention grant is underway, and if you have a business in Suwannee County, please fill out the online survey. I gave each of the commissioners a card. There's also some cards in the lobby, so if you have a business in Suwannee County and you'd like to participate in this survey to help build the city up, please do so. And that's about all we've got now. Thank you, Chairman and Commissioners, for allowing us to update you on the happenings. Does anybody have any questions?
Any questions?
Just for my convenience, I apologize. The pesticide class that you mentioned out at the research unit, what was the date
Yes,
on
sir.
that again?
They're going to be on the 4th and 11th.
The 4th and the 11th?
Yes, sir. One will be a post and the other one will be a core.
Right.
All right, thank you. Anything further? Thank you very much for that presentation. Next up, item number B, Alvin Jackson, Economic Development Director.
Once again, it is another great evening in beautiful Suwannee County. Just want to give you a quick, what I call a 2015 economic development overview. You have it in your packages. We left some out front, and we're not going to go through all 10 pages verbatim. I'm just going to hit some high points. Just want us to see that our labor force here is about 17,800 out of our population of 44,000, with a participation rate of about 51% of those individuals are actually participating in the workforce. Our bachelor's degree or higher is 9.8%. Nationally, it's 30.5%. Disabled is 15.3% here at residents. Nationally, it's 10.1%. 18.9% have no high school diploma. Nationally, that's 12.2%. Just wanted us to see some of these numbers because actually the school board is starting its strategic planning process tonight, which I sat in for about 30 minutes. So they realize that there are some challenges and some opportunities. And from an economic development standpoint, as the leaders in this county, I think it's something that you need to also be aware of and support your school system in as they move forward with their strategic planning process. The median household income is $35,600. The average wage is about $30,008, which is a little increase from $29,600 in 2015. The average worker earn about $30,008. The cost of living index is 12.5% lower here in Suwannee. So Suwannee is a great place to come and live. It costs you 12.5% lower than other places throughout the country. The average annual wage per worker increased about 2.5%. Now, our unemployment has decreased it was 5.3% in this year, and November of 2014 is about 5.9%. Florida is 5.1%, and the U.S. is 5.2%. Another area of concern, and I know the chairman and the superintendent have had some dialogue, is our poverty level. It's about 23.6%. Florida is 6.3%, and the U.S. about 15.4%. So that's that's work that we need to work on, is our poverty, bringing down our poverty level. The largest sector in Suwannee County from an industry standpoint is manufacturing. It's employing about 1,700 workers. Now, you say, well, where are the manufacturers? Food is considered manufacturing. Pilgrims is considered a manufacturer. The next is retail trade. They employ about 1,600 individuals, and then public administration, about 1,500. The industry snapshot for the last 5 years, the best job growth has been in manufacturing, construction, and retail trade. For the future, over the next 10 years, the employment is projected to expand about 2,000 new jobs. And we want to really make these economists wrong about their prediction. But the fastest growing sector, they're expecting it to be in construction, about 3.4% year over year. The strongest forecast by the number of jobs over this period is expected to be for healthcare and social assistance, and then retail, trade, and manufacturing. The largest major occupation group is office and administrative support occupations, employing about 12,080 workers, and then production, 12,020 workers, and then sales and related occupations. And once again, over the next 10 years, the fastest growing occupation is construction and extraction occupations. Just quickly, just to recap, from an economic development standpoint, what this board has done from a policy standpoint, you have adopted a performance-based incentive program. You revised that to ensure that we have some immediate dollars for infrastructure development. You've added a new land use category, employment centers. You've designated 3 areas as employment centers. You've approved 5 incentives applications and approved 1 incentive for the state grant. In your packages, and you all know the businesses that we basically have actually announced, they are not, all of them have not developed. So my next report is based on anticipation. The total companies announced were 8. The total anticipated capital investment, if all those come to fruition, is about $1.3 billion worth of investment here in Suwannee. The total anticipated new jobs will be about 518. The number of approved incentive programs have been 6 for an estimated total about 1.2 million. Basically, the return on that investment will be about 169 million. The average payroll, if all of this comes to fruition, will be about 15.9 million in payroll back into the economy. So I just kind of wanted to give you that quick overview, because when we talk about economic development, we're really talking about dollars that flow through the economy. It expands our tax base. And once again, when economic development is growing and we're bringing in companies, pretty much they're paying for education, infrastructure, and emergency services. That's what economic development really pays for. Any questions?
Thank you, Dr. Jackson. Is there any questions for our Economic Development Coordinator? I just have one question, and
Yes,
you may or may not have the information there in front of you, but agribusiness jobs, do you know about what agribusiness employs? I know you mentioned the others there, but I didn't know if we had it, because it's kind of hard to extract that data, I think.
Yeah, it kind of cuts across to, I'm sure I can find it. I can go back and get that
I
out
didn't mean
of
to
my
put you on the
system.
spot,
Yeah.
I just didn't hear that. I thought
Because agribusiness is included in your manufacturing, in production. When it talks about your administrative occupations, that include those occupations that's also in agribusiness.
Gotcha, understand.
But
Thank you,
I'll
Doc.
get that information for you.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you, Doctor. All right, next up, item number C, we'll give our attention to Betty Lawrence, Director of Libraries. Thank you.
Good evening, Commissioners, Mr. Chair, and community. Thank you for the opportunity to give you a brief update on the library. As usual, I prepared an exhibit, and it's outside in the lobbyway. And in the exhibit, you'll find some information on the past programs that we've had for the last couple of months. You'll find information on the programs that we anticipate having or that we have scheduled for the next quarter or next couple of months. And you'll also find in that information a snapshot of what library services have been like for 2015. I usually do the report just for in-house, but I thought this time I would share it with you. Very easy, graphic to read. The numbers are there. You don't have to go through a whole lot of reading to catch it. So please take a look at that when you're outside. One of the programs that, and I usually try and highlight one popular program each time that I come, the one that I'm very impressed with or have been impressed with this past few months has been the Pioneer Days program. You'll have to come take a look at it to appreciate it. We've had knife making. We'll have a locked case of guns used in pioneer times. And we also have a gentleman comes in to do iron crafting. And I get a lot of men in the library now for those programs. So I thought I'd share that with you. I had the opportunity to go to Tallahassee last year. As you know, each year we have what's called Ledge Day, and that's the library is included in that, so that we go to Tallahassee and talk with our leaders who influence the budgeting and process and the funding of libraries. I received some positive information. My predecessor, Danny Hill, had the opportunity to also go, so we're cautiously excited about that. I also would like to share with you the Dowling Park Public Library groundbreaking day. I do have information also included outside. I was very pleased with the turnout that we had, the support that we have, and I'd like to, I see a lot of the faces in the audience that attended, so thank you for coming to that function. If you would like additional information with regards to the library, I'd be more than glad to provide it for you. But I do have the information out here, and I also have a list of our giving supporters that's included out there. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Betty. Are there any questions of Mrs. Lawrence for the library?
And just as an FYI, I'm sorry, Commissioner Shaw, I want you to check the Ethernet out.
Okay, all right, I will.
Ms.
I'll definitely do it.
Lawrence, is there a projection date on that, completion on that? Should I ask?
Can I report on that at the next meeting?
That'd be fine.
We expect it to be built this year, but, you know, I have to take this a little at a time. We will adhere to the scheduled building plans. However, I really feel a little bit more comfortable reporting on
A
that.
little bit later on. Okay.
Ms. Lawrence,
Yes.
would it be appropriate time to share with them the letter from the roofing company?
Well, it would be. The roofing company, you know, we looked at ways to economize in terms of building the library, and one way that we decided to go, because we wanted to do a metal roofing, but we decided that the tile roofing would do what we needed it to do. But when we received word from, or got information from the roofers via North Florida, Ms. Torres, I think, O'Neill Roofing. They are donating the difference in the cost of the tile roof and the metal roof, and so we'll be able to have the metal roof at cost of the bidding cost.
When we bid it out, we had two options for a shingle roof and a standing seam metal roof, and they came in and said that they would like to donate the difference and bring us standing seam metal roof rather than a shingled roof.
Okay, so no tile, I never mentioned tile.
Well, the shingled roof is what she was referring to.
Okay, okay.
I'm sorry.
I thought we were going to some barrel tile.
No, what happened was, we had included it as an upgrade, but we decided not to do it because of the cost difference in the shingle and the metal. And as their gift to the project, they decided to go ahead and include it as a metal roof. So it was an upgrade, about a 7, I think it was close to a $7
74.
dollar
That was my
increase.
question.
But we'll see that in I believe that'll be coming back to us in kind of a net zero change order to do the increase, but it won't be an increase.
And we also have that opportunity with other vendors. I just, I have everybody listed out here, so I want to give everybody equal
Yeah,
billing.
there's been another business or two that stepped forward and making donations, but that was the one that I knew had been confirmed, so I wanted to bring that one up to the board. Thank you, Ms. Lawrence.
You're welcome. Live Oak Pest Control and Bennett's Glass is also
Yeah.
stepped up, but we have a lot of other organizations in the community and businesses, and also we have a phenomenal number of individuals that's contributing. So I
Excellent.
think we're good there. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Lawrence. Next, we'll welcome up Greg Scott, Park and Recreations Director.
Good evening. Appreciate y'all bringing the camera in for the staff reports. It's awful nice of y'all. Appreciate that. Just want to give you a few updates briefly. At the Coliseum, we're almost complete repainting the rodeo arena, all the railing. We've got a couple of prison crews out there working on that. Mark's helped us out with getting some paint, quality paint, and we're getting near on that, over halfway done with that. We've closed out the Charles Springs project and had a nice ribbon cutting or reopening of that, and went real well. Little River Springs project is almost complete. Just got to wait on the river to go back down so we can finish that up, but making good progress there. We wrote a grant, if you remember back months ago, for playground improvements at the Douglas Center and also at Heritage Park. It looks like the Heritage Park was one on the city side, but the Douglas was ranked about 60th or so, and so it looks promising in that funding for that. So we should be able to make some improvements over at the Douglas Center, and that's for $50,000 also. We wrapped up basketball. We had 57 kids participating in the basketball program this year. I'm sorry, 46 participating this year. We had 57 kids and 46 games for the year. Soccer, we're in the middle of soccer right now. We've got 342 kids involved with soccer right now, which equates to 148 games, all using the baseball, softball fields to accommodate that still. We've got registration going on for baseball, softball, t-ball, rookie ball right now. Last year we had 449 kids participate in that program, and right now we're at 129, but it's we got about halfway through the registration. Usually last minute is when people usually register. So we also have got at the airport 50-year celebration scheduled for March 26th. The EAA is taking the lead on that, and we're helping support them. There'll be a fly-in. We've got some antique aircraft coming in. Got some military flybys, and hopefully have some military planes actually there on site also as a static display. Car shows and other things that's going to happen. So watch for that information. That's the Saturday before Easter, and last week of spring break, and last day of the fair. So group decided that's the date we needed to go, so that's the date we're going with, and so we're moving forward with that. The stormwater management plan is near completion, and we hope to finish that up in the next few weeks. We're still working on the maintenance building, getting real close on the design for that at the airport, and making progress. Be starting on the stormwater project to actually do the work relatively soon, probably within the year. And we got some other AWAS systems upgrades coming, and we got a meeting with FAA and FDOT later in the month. So whenever we meet with them, they bring checkbooks, so we love to meet with them. And any questions I can answer?
Any questions of Mr. Scott? I have one. Anybody? I just noticed, you mentioned Heritage Park a lot. I noticed they were redoing the fencing out there. Is that all the old wire fencing is coming down, or just a portion of it?
Just that portion by the disc golf.
Okay, gotcha. Anybody else? Thank you,
Very
Mr.
much.
Scott. Next, item E on the agenda, we'll welcome up James Summers. He's our Public Safety Director. Chief Summers?
Commissioners, Chairman, thank you for the opportunity to speak to you tonight. Give you a little basis on call load for the first quarter. Since October, we're on an average of 608 calls a month. That equates about 21 calls per day per shift for our staff. Over this first quarter, we've given out 300 CPR cards between the library program with the help of Ms. Lawrence and the school system. So we're trying to get our younger generation involved with health and through the HOPE program and try to get people certified within Suwannee County in CPR. So that's working out great. Want to make you aware of two grants that we were awarded within Suwannee County in this first quarter. I came to you a couple months ago and requested for a grant through the Florida Department of Health for a mobile station / incident command center for some of the events that we have, some of the venues we have in our coverage area, and we were awarded $22,000 through the Florida Department of Health for that grant. And then we were also awarded today we applied for our drone grant to aid with fire rescue, and today we were awarded that grant. As far as the funding for that grant, I am unsure at this time. We have to go through a selection process as far as what type of equipment will be awarded and licensing and things like that. So those are no cost to the residents of Suwannee County. So any questions?
Excellent. Any questions of Chief Summers?
Only question I got, still waiting on comp time, overtime, sick leave report.
I'll have it for you next board meeting, sir.
Next board meeting.
Next board meeting.
Next board meeting, February
sir.
16th.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. All right. We'd like to thank all members of our staff this evening for preparing and giving those reports. We know it takes a lot to get it in front of folks, especially a large crowd like this, so we appreciate your efforts in that regard. Moving on to the general business item section of our agenda, item number 12, discuss with possible board action business incentive grant application by Southern Cross Dairy, LLC. We'll hear information about that from Dr. Alvin Jackson, our Economic Development Director.
Thank you, Chairman. This evening, we have another new business that has made application for incentive grant. It is Southern Cross Dairy, and basically it fits our target industry. It's an agribusiness, and the capital investment for that is $14.3 million. The facility size is about 340,000 square feet. The number of new jobs will be 42 new jobs. The average wage is $38,000. Basically, they qualify, based on the point system, they receive 14 points, which means they would be entitled to 4 years a grant that's equivalent to the ad valorem and the tangible taxes. The total capital improvement value is about $8.7 million. That would have annually would bring in about $78,750 in ad valorem taxes. You multiply that by 75% times 4. They would be the grant estimate would be $236,625 for ad valorem, and for the tangible, about $14,552 over the 4-year period. So the total maximum points for the incentives, possible incentive would be $250,812, spreading that over 7-year annual installments. about $35,830 a year. And once again, I always like to just share basically what this means. The direct employment is about 42 jobs, indirect 14 new jobs, 5 induced, a total of 61 jobs. The annual sales output about 6 million, 8 for direct. Indirect is 672,000, induced 289,000, a total of 7.8 million. Now, I've added a new piece because it does create temporary jobs, and that's construction jobs for this project. Direct 102, 5 indirect, 27 induced, about 134 total temporary jobs. For the capital investment, the tangible piece, which is the equipment, about 8.7 million direct, indirect 716,000, indirect 2.7 million, a total of 12 million dollars on that. So the overall economic impact to the local is about 13 million, and the total jobs, including the temporary, will be 195 jobs. And so my recommendation is for us to approve this business incentive.
Thank you, Dr. Jackson. Are there any questions to Dr. Jackson by the board? Dr. Jackson, this is a new business, correct?
This is a new business, yes, sir.
Okay. So it falls right in line with the targeted industries that this board has established that we're looking at courting to come into our area. Is that correct?
Correct.
Mr. Chairman, I'll offer a motion of approval.
I second it.
Motion of approval made by Commissioner Wainwright, seconded by Commissioner Sessions. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Thank you, Dr. Jackson. Moving on to item number 13, discuss with possible board action a request from Suwannee County Conservation District to fill a vacancy prior to the retirement of the current secretary coordinator. Due to Mr. Harris's absence, we'll turn our attention now to Commissioner Sessions to brief us on this.
The conservation program, I'm a board member of it. There's a lady there, Ms. Teresa, that's been there for years and years, and as the program has grown, she's continued to take on more and more responsibilities, and she's the face to all the farmers of all the programs. And currently, she's managing 6 bank accounts and meeting all the farmers, handling about $10 million a year. So she's ready to retire. So the Conservation Board needs somebody to replace her, but you can't just replace somebody and say, here's your job, that has that much going on. So they've requested us to hire someone to shadow her for 30 days to gradually take the reins and hopefully become, we hope, as successful as Ms. Teresa's been over all these years. So that's just a short amount of information, but she's an integral part of the whole operation. We have the Chairman, Andy Jackson, here tonight, and if you want to say anything, you can. If not.
Mr. Jackson, if you come to the podium, please, sir. We're getting pretty strict about that.
6 accounts, $10 million.
That way we can get it all on the record.
Well, while he's heading up here, did you say 30 days?
30 working days. It's going to come out to close to 6 weeks.
I think say, is that enough, though? I
Well,
was thinking maybe,
We talked it over with Andy, and we think that basically 6 weeks or 30 working days is pretty close to getting it done. I don't think we'll ever get it.
I understand.
Please.
I just know what she has on her plate.
It's a lot.
6 weeks doesn't sound like enough.
I can just, most of y'all's been there, know what it is, and it getting more and more. The audit requirements we're audited constantly, all the time, and she has notebooks of receipts and stuff,
think she went out there to Walmart the other day and bought 9 of them big notebooks just to get this past year's stuff in. But it's, like Larry said, she is the face. When you walk in that office, that's the first person you see. She's go send you where you need to go, talk to whoever. She's been there 37 years. She started to work when she was in DCT. She started to work with the Suwannee County Conservation District. And also, she's going to be, Larry may know out, but going to be put into the National Association Conservation District Southeastern Hall of Fame. Very few people get that, but she meets the requirements. But she will be inducted into that in August in Cherokee, North Carolina. And, but, you know, like there's so much there, 6 weeks or longer, you know, somebody needs to be there to keep it straight, to learn how things, because we can't miss a day the way it's coming right now. Even if we miss one day of something not caught and taken care of, it could just wreck everything. We're handling like, let's see, we got one grant for $6.1 million, the energy program. And we got the grants from FDACs past 2 years, they've totaled over $3 million. And they're, and long as, and Teresa's basically the one who does it, keeps it all flowing right, these grants is more than likely going to keep coming. We're one of the few conservation districts in the state that can do this, thanks to the county supporting us with staff and stuff. And like I say, we need somebody and whatever. If y'all got any questions I didn't answer, I don't know, but it's a pretty complicated job, and we can't miss a day. And we appreciate whatever y'all come up with.
Andy, if you don't mind, can you state your name and address for the record? It's just
Andy Jackson, address 16906 County Road 250, Live Oak, Florida.
thank you.
The old house the car run into a year and a half ago.
Understood. Understood. Are there any questions of Mr. Jackson by the board?
When did you say she was being honored with the Hall of Fame?
Actually, August the 2nd, I think.
You said it was in North
Cherokee,
Cherokee, North Carolina. The only we've had, the other person from here is Mr. Jim Centerfit. He's been placed into that. Y'all know he's gone.
Passed, right.
But,
Mr. Jackson, I mean, do we have a number? The board would need a number, amount of money to approve for this. Do you have a number for us, as far as money-wise, to compensate this person in addition? Because you need additional funds.
Well, Mr. Jackson and I discussed it earlier. We think that to shadow her for this period of time, if we could allocate at least $4,000 to that, it'll be well worth it.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman,
Commissioner Wainwright?
will that individual, as we hire them, they'll be a full-time employee then, subject to benefits and everything?
Yeah.
During that training process?
Yeah, I can't imagine that this
Okay,
person
I just
would
want
be
to
able
make
to
sure.
do all that job. Might even need to be two people.
I'm open to 8 weeks, 6 or 8 weeks. I don't want to hamstring it. That's
I was kind of thinking the same thing, you know, maybe about five, maybe making a nice round number, like $5,000 or something like that, instead of 4,000.
I'm sure it would make a lot better transition to.
Oh, absolutely. That's why I brought it up.
Especially with all that she has to do.
Well, if you're familiar and if you ever went and looked at any of these grants, not just yours, but other grants that we administer, there's just a tremendous amount of reading and stuff that has to go into it. And like you say, there's dates in there, things like that. So.
problems we're having now is the Department of Financial Services. It's unreal, what they take and do with this stuff. When we send all the reports to them and they get sent back, and it's
live with this stuff every day.
It's just
And it's
crazy.
It's an amazing talent to be able to sit there and focus, and then somebody comes in the door, and then you have to go help them, and then have to go back down and sit and have to look at that stuff and read it all the time and review each one of those grants, because like you said, they're sitting on the shelf up there, but you got to pull them off and open them back up to make sure that you don't miss the dates. You got pre-grant work, you got grant work, and then you got post-grant work. And all of that has to be monitored to make sure you're in compliance and all that stuff. So,
Well, the 6 weeks would have started on the 18th of April. If we bump it back to 8, it would be the 4th of April.
okay.
Would be the start date, so
So
I'm fine with that.
if we're okay with that, we'll just entertain a motion to include the start date and also the rate, the amount of money, and then we need to find out if that, well, we just need to decide if that's going to come out contingency, and that's what I would recommend. So I just need a motion to that effect.
I'll make a motion that we
Second.
do whatever you said. You got me off guard on that one.
Just state to clarify, the motion would be, it's the
All right.
start date would be
I'll
April
do
4th.
April 4th is the start date, that we fund the NRCS with general funds to the tune of $5,000.
Okay. That's the motion on the floor. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Fleming. Okay. Is there any further discussion, questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Thank you, Mr. Jackson, very much.
Thank y'all.
All right, moving on to item number 14. If you're following along, discuss scheduling a workshop to evaluate the proposed Sable Trail pipeline route near State Park on US 90 West. Commissioner Fleming requested that we do a site visit on this, and I propose that we do this mid-February. Gives us some time to coordinate our schedules, and it's up to you guys what date, or we can have staff contact each one of you to try to coordinate that however you guys want to work it. Or if you guys just want to select the date.
Would it, Mr. Chairman,
Commissioner
would a
Fleming?
weekday or weekend be better?
Weekday.
Weekday?
Weekday in the morning is typically
Yep.
better for me.
It's good.
That's good for everybody else.
Good for me.
All right, now the other part of that was thrown out there was transportation to and from the site. There are two lines of thinking on this, is we could just meet at the state park with our own personal vehicles, or we could meet here, say, and then get into the bus and go out there. You know, I'm fine either way,
I'll provide transportation if we need to.
okay?
Question, Mr. Chairman, or comment?
Commissioner Wainwright?
I thought we decided in the last meeting we were just going to stay neutral on this, and each commissioner could go out and participate
correct.
on their own if they wanted to. I mean, I've been out there and looked at this. I don't have any desire to go out. This is going to be a workshop, so there's going to be no decisions made, not that we can even make any.
Correct.
But I don't want to go out there and have a bunch of folks that are all emotional and trying to strong-arm me into siding up with them. I mean, it's not facts, it's emotion is what is going to drive a lot of it. And I mean, I don't have a problem listening, and we have, at numerous meetings, we've listened to folks' comments about this. And again, we've stated over and over that we're not in the decision-making process.
I
I
agree.
still declare that you know, my efforts are to continue to look at the different agencies that are making these decisions and look at their information and stay in contact with them. And that's the best that we can really do, I think.
Well, it was just a request made by a commissioner, and I tried to honor all those requests.
Well,
I understand that, and if the board decides that that's what they want to do, I'll certainly participate as a commissioner, but I don't think it's necessary.
Commissioner Gamble?
Well, what I was going to lead into, back to Mr. Wainwright's comment about us being neutral, we are, and that's what we decided, but Commissioner Fleming had asked me to go to the site, I think as they may have asked others to go, and I agreed out of respect to him that I would go, and the only way that we can go together and hold a workshop is to advertise it. So that's why we placed it on the agenda. It's not necessarily, in my eyes, that if every commissioner wants to go, fine. If they don't, fine. It's just, as of right now, and I don't see anything changing, I feel the same way about it, just out of respect to his request. I told him that I would honor that and go. So it just has to be advertised.
Okay. Well, I guess if the general consensus of the board, if members want to go, the majority, then we will advertise it and proceed forward as planned. Otherwise, we won't do it.
I said that I would, when Commissioner Fleming asked me, I said I'd be more than happy to go also.
All right.
Let's just proceed with it. Go ahead and advertise it.
Commissioner Wainwright, I think that the general consent, the majority is saying that they want to do it, so.
Mr. Chairman, I'm fine with that. As I stated, if the board wishes to do that, I will participate as commissioner.
Okay. So if you guys have a date in mind, I just proposed mid-February as a target, but I can have staff contact each one of you and coordinate that with Commissioner Sessions as not a commissioner, but as his SBTA coordinator hat, because I'm sure there's some scheduling that has to occur there as well.
As long as I get a little notice.
Okay. So if that's okay with you, you'll be contacted by staff to coordinate that, and we'll publish it. We have to publish it, and then we'll meet here. Is that what we're saying? We're going to meet here,
Here's fine.
and then we will get on the bus here and then head out to the state park. Does that, everybody understand what's
Can
going
we
on?
all ride on the same bus?
Right.
Yeah.
We all ride on the same bus.
Can we run?
Bring your lunch.
No talking.
I'll even put the trolley out there, you know.
There's cameras on the buses, so no spitballing, nothing like that. So, I know that for a fact. That's a fact.
Right.
Anyway, so that's what we're going to do. No vote or nothing like that. We'll just do it that way. Any other questions before we move on? Okay. Agenda item number 15, discuss with possible board action long-range plan of capital improvements. And I asked for this to be placed on the agenda. Gentlemen, you've had the information that I gave to you, action plan proposal at past meetings. You had some time to digest it, and I had prepared quite a bit of information for this evening, but I decided against doing any further speeches on it. I think what we need to do before we move any further is we need to decide as a board if we want to continue the practice that we have currently, which is reactionary style to what is our second greatest investment behind our employees, which is our property. If we want to continue the reactionary style, if it ain't broke, don't fix it style of reacting to whatever changes come up, or do we want to do what other governments in our state have done 20 years ago, and that is create an action plan that works hand in hand with your capital improvement plan to give staff guidance and direction through the years to come. It also gives your residents guidance and direction as to where we're going and what we can do. The heartburn with all of this is, and in the information I've read, is it requires an investment of funds to do that. And what are the funds for? For the data collection, for the production of deliverables, whether those be paper or interactive, so that you can see and make decisions based upon information in front of you, rather than simply saying, we need this, so we'll just go pick a site and build it. So I'm asking the board now to allocate those funds, and you can ask me any questions you want. You guys have the information. I can provide you with further information. And I've just talked with Dr. Jackson about this. It's something that we definitely need to do. Some strategic, specific planning to create footprints for where we're going in the future. The previous board, as well as this board, have set into motion plans to grow our community, our county. And those were done in the form of policy. So now, whenever that growth does occur, are we going to be chasing ourselves with regard to our way of delivering service to our constituents, or are we going to go ahead and plan for that growth as we see it coming? Because currently, we're growing faster. Suwannee County is growing faster than the state average. And you have put that into place. So we need to manage that growth through an action plan. So that's all I'll say about it. I'm done with it after that. I just hope the paper gets it right when they state it.
Comment, Mr. Chairman.
Commissioner Wainwright?
Is it necessary that we go ahead and allocate funds or create a fund that we can draw from. If we, and to some degree, I don't necessarily like your term of reactionary. I think that we have made efforts in previous board and this board to begin the process of looking at this thing carefully and work at it. And yes, at the pace we're going, we will be outpaced. But having said that, if we have staff work on these opportunities as a plan to move forward, and as we see opportunities to enlist help, and you've listed conceptual renderings and all these types of things, and we have engineers on staff or contracted with and all that. All I'm getting at is, why don't we just pay for it as we do it, out of contingency monies? Or, I mean, I just don't see that we need to just create an account and just set monies over there right now. And we're just now, I mean, we don't even, if we sit down right now or over the next 2 months and we start trying to pull together a plan with the help of staff, and obviously Dr. Jackson would have to be involved in a lot of that. I mean, there's a numerous people that we've got to draw into this plan. It's a tremendous undertaking to go into it in a formalized effort, I guess, is what you're trying to do. And I don't disagree with what you're trying to do, but I just, I don't know. I just don't think we need to just create an account and start working off of that. I'd rather just do it as we go.
Well, as I stated earlier, the biggest part of this process, and don't just think of the line item as the action plan. The action plan is kind of set out before you in the document.
Process.
Part of that action plan involves allocation of funds, and what that does is it marries us to the idea. Okay, so if we don't get past that big threshold of doing that, of setting aside those funds, so that we can pull from them as needed in order to create that stuff, because then it becomes kind of a political football, as it were. So whenever a next board comes up and they say, well, we don't want to spend it, we just let the action plan die because there's no allocation of funding for it. I think that the idea of setting specific measurable goals that works in hand with the capital improvement plan, which doesn't have that currently, this does that and allows you to modify the plan. It's a living, breathing document. So over the next few years, you've put the policy in place, you've given the finances to it, and now your staff is able to move forward without having to, in some of these issues, come back before the board, because it falls consistently with your purchasing policy now. It's a $5,000 limit. So, there's some things like that, you need data. You need,
well, I think by virtue of the fact that we've already begun with the state's attorney's office, with the Nettie Basin building, all these things that we've looked at as far as the Douglas Center is concerned, these are things that's been going on for a number of years, and we've already adopted a capital improvement plan, not so specific.
right.
But we've already got a plan out there that identifies some goals and things that we've got in mind. We've got a railroad, we've got infrastructure that we want to go from the Catalyst site to Interstate 10. I mean, we got a lot of things down the road. Out there at Fort White, I mean, it's not Fort White, White Springs. We got a lot of different things that we've already identified in the capital improvement plan, and we've done nothing to hamstring whatever opportunities come in that way. So, I mean, there's a plan that's identified.
Well, let me speak to that a little bit. So for each one of those plans that you had, let's take your example of we'll call it the White Springs exit, but it's in Suwannee County. That particular project, when you guys decide to tackle it, would have its own action plan, and you would allocate funding for that specific action plan. You would need an action plan for your Catalyst site that works hand in hand with your capital improvement plan. What I'm speaking to here is an action plan for growth that you have conceived you've already conceived a plan for economic growth, and it's already working, as evidenced by what we've seen here this evening with a new dairy coming in here. Now, the bodies that business brings in and that employs, and if the rate of growth continues, then you're going to have to render services to those taxpayers. And right now, as it stands, we have no plans to facilitate that growth within the scope of the government, which, like I said, our resources, our people, are our greatest resource. But right under that, you know as well as I do, your biggest investment that we all make is our houses. So it only makes sense that in the grand scheme of things that we're talking about here is our property, the property that the taxpayers own, is our next greatest investment. So we need to plan what's going to occur with those buildings and stuff. I don't know if, you've been in the clerk's office. Eric's over in the corner over there. You got two secretaries. They're all on top of each other now over there.
Perhaps they're overstaffed.
Well, now, look. Who said that?
Mr. Chairman, listen,
You guys hear that?
I don't want to get into all that. I mean, we could.
No. I don't want you either. But it's on the agenda. You've had it. I've been talking about it. I've talked about it
I've read
since.
through the whole thing that you got, and I don't necessarily disagree with it. I just,
What I'm doing is I'm asking for your support for it's the executive's job in any organization to do the planning. And it is up to us to do that. So we can either ignore it or we can embrace it. And I'm asking the board to embrace the idea of planning at a microscopic level. Commissioner Sessions.
Comment. We've already started with land use categories, okay? So when you start off in a plan, and you have to have historical data and things like that, so you have a strategic plan, and from that, you get action plans, and then you implement those plans wherever it happens. So far, I think we're kind of on that track because we've already identified different land use areas around the county. We understand that intersection out there is an employment center. The one by Stagecoach Road and 129 is an employment center. So we've got some of these things already identified that we know that's where it's going to grow first. So I think we've started along that path. We haven't allocated any money, but so we've kind of got a strategic plan already going. And once something comes to us, let's just say tomorrow an investor comes up and says, I need 1,000 acres around 75 and 136. Well, all of a sudden we're going to jump into gear because we know that's a good thing for us. We will react. You are. But ahead of that, we've already designated that as an employment center. So we are on the right track, is designating that, so we don't have to go worry about rezoning and doing all that. And then when that comes to us, yes, we'll have to develop an action plan, and I can see what you're saying, but the bottom line is infrastructure and money. In order to build up, let's say all the way out there, we need to have infrastructure out there for people to plug into, because most developers are not going to bring their own infrastructure with them or build it. We need a network of, well, just like they took care of Klausner. You got infrastructure out there now, but we're not being totally reactive. I think we are planning slowly with these work centers. We just need to get a little bit more detailed and then prioritize our detailed findings.
I don't want to lose sight of what I'm asking for. I'm saying that the property portfolio that we own, that the taxpayers own, is a mess, and it needs to be cleaned up. So I'm not talking about other specific projects, but I'm glad both of you brought that up, because the state allocated $500,000 for that White Springs exit for planning purposes only. Mm-hmm. That's it. So the state sees the value in putting together an action plan, but they were going to put far and above what I feel was necessary. But all that money was specifically for, and this came straight from their mouths, for infrastructure planning. That's it. So if we're avoiding, we're getting off topic, but I'm glad that, like I said, you brought that up. The heartburn with planning is the money, and you can avoid it, you can run from it, or you can leave it as it is and you can react to it. And that's what we have been doing. So let's embrace the change, make a dynamic change in the way we do things here locally, and do some planning 5, 10, 15 years out, specific, so the public knows what we're doing, what direction we're going, so staff knows what direction we're going, and I'm only saying it in respect to government services at this time, because we're all over the place now. I got a list of buildings from Marcus Durham, and it's worse than I thought. We have 102 structures that we maintain or we have the responsibility of maintaining, and now we're adding 2 more to that list, the Dowling Park Library and then also the new State's Attorney's Office. That'll be 104 structures. So as we continue to complicate this portfolio of properties, then you're going to have to, that you closer you cluster these buildings, the cheaper it gets to maintain them. So I'm just saying to the board, you need to do this, you need to do it now, so you don't get caught flat-footed in the future. And that's all I'll say about it. So I'll entertain a motion if somebody feels like we need to implement this plan. It's a changing plan. You guys can change it, amend it however you want to. But it's something that we can grow with over the years.
Mr. Chairman, I offer a motion that we implement this plan.
All right. Motion made by Commissioner Fleming. Do I hear a second? Motion dies for lack of a second, and that is too bad. Moving on to agenda item number, let's see, we're going to move down. We pulled item number 16. I call for additional agenda items. I know that there were 3 additional, but I did not receive.
I don't have a copy of them.
I don't have a copy of them either. No, I mean, oh, wait a minute. Yeah, I do, right here. Here it is, I got it. I've got 3 additional agenda items. I'll read them into the record and see if anybody has any problem with hearing them here this evening. They're pretty standard. Authorization to apply for rural infrastructure grant for railroad crossing at the Catalyst site. Number 2, discuss with possible board action approval of task order with Darabi and Associates for services associated with the modification to Department of Environmental Protection permit for the Brantford mine. And 3, consider approval of task order with Darabi and Associates, Inc. for installation of new monitoring well at the closed landfill as required by Department of Environmental Protection. I'll try to answer any questions you might have with these, but is everybody okay with adding these additional items?
I'd appreciate if you read them again, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Item number 1, authorization to apply for rural infrastructure grant for a railroad crossing at the Catalyst site. Item number 2, discuss with possible board action approval of task order with Darabi and Associates, Inc. for services associated with modification to Department of Environmental Protection permit at the Brantford mine. Item number 3, consider approval of task order with Darabi and Associates, Inc. for installation of new monitoring well at the closed landfill as required by Department of Environmental Protection. And again, I said, does anybody have any problem with adding any of these items?
No.
Okay, item number 1, authorization to apply for rural infrastructure grant for railroad crossing at the Catalyst site. What I know about this item is that there are some funds that we've become aware of that are available to move that one crossing that is currently further to the east. We'd be moving it further to the west to line up with the road that runs to the western boundary of the Klausner site there. And then that road heads north and then turns back to the west there. And the reason for that, I believe, is that when the spur comes off there, that where it currently is, it would have to cross both tracks. And I think that if we move it down to the west, then it will only have to cross one track. Does anybody have any further questions? I'll entertain a motion for approval for this.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Wainwright, seconded by Commissioner Gamble. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Moving on to item number 2, discuss with possible board action approval of task order with Darabi and Associates, Inc. for services associated with the modification to Department of Environmental Protection permit at Brantford Mine. Commissioner Wainwright, do you have anything you want to add to this item before I try to tackle it?
We really need to do this. DEP, we've been, this is necessary for us to continue operation.
Okay,
Basically what it amounts to.
okay. Any further questions? I'll entertain a motion for approval.
Motion approved.
I second it.
Motion to approve made by Commissioner Fleming, seconded by Commissioner Sessions. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Moving on to additional item number 3, consider approval of task order with Robbie and Associates for installation of new monitoring well at the closed landfill as required by the Department of Environmental Protection. This is pretty self-explanatory, gentlemen. The department, the DEP is requiring this, and we're asking that we need to have it designed and installed. Any questions?
I'll note, if I might, Mr. Chairman, that if you install the well here, it'll reduce some of our other reporting requirements.
Okay. So that, did everybody hear that?
Yes.
Okay.
That's all I need.
I'll entertain a motion for approval.
Make a motion to approve it.
Second.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Sessions, seconded by Commissioner Fleming. Is there any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Thank you, gentlemen, for handling that with me this evening. All right, let's get out of here. Item number 18, public concerns and comments. I have several for the board consideration this evening. The first one we'll listen to is Martha Delgado. She wants to speak to the board, is concerned about the effects of our community and the safety elements regarding Sable Trail. So welcome up, Mrs. Delgado. Mrs. Delgado, and this is just for everybody's general information. When you do come to the podium, please state your full name and address for the record. Thank you.
Marta Delgado, 21862 Carmel Place, O'Brien, Florida. I live in a community of about 40 homes. And first of all, I have to admit and tell you that I don't know all the facts because Sable Trail sounded like somewhere we could ride our bikes. So my husband and I moved. I'm sorry, this Commissioner, you said that this issue could be emotional. You said earlier that our biggest investment that we make is our homes. So it's a little bit more than emotional. It's our financial state of being. Those of us that own homes near this compression station that they're planning on building. I live in a community with about 40 homes. We have many elderly people. We have children. My family, my children just moved up with 2 grandchildren. I'm concerned about their health in many areas. I moved from the city to be in a quiet community. I never expected to be here. So here's my concern. I built a home. It's really quite near that compression station. Before I moved here, I was concerned about having to call an ambulance or having a fire in my home, and now I have to be concerned about a compression station, where if we had an emergency, the nearest help would have to come from Jacksonville. And I think that's beyond ridiculous. I also don't understand, gentlemen, how you could be neutral on this issue, and that's a real question. I'm not knocking you, I'm just asking how you can become neutral on this when you represent us. There's no neutrality here. You represent those of us that own homes in these communities, so how can you possibly be neutral? My son-in-law moved here a year and a half ago. He's looking to build a home. As of yesterday, when I found out that this was going on, that project is on hold. We're not going to build our home where our children's water can be contaminated and put their health at risk. I'm sorry, I will not do that. I moved from Miami and I built what I consider my dream home. It's an absolutely beautiful home, but my health comes first. So if this is a health issue, will I continue to stay in this community? I have places to go. I won't stay here. So I think our health comes first. That's the concern of this community, and that is certain emotional issue. So I don't know if you gentlemen can answer my question, but I would really like to know how you can take the neutral stand on this issue and how we can go above this, above the board, and get some answers here. Because I'm sorry, I don't agree with what's happening here. I don't agree with your decision. 3 or 4 years ago, we had a small storm that didn't quite hit the national papers. It was called Debbie. That morning, I had to leave my home because I had an emergency to get to the doctor. It took me an hour and a half because there were sinkholes all around me. How is this fracking going to affect the sinkholes in our community? Will we be able to leave our homes? Will we be able to drink our water and know that our water is safe for us to drink? Do you know that when I moved to this community, that's the first thing that I absolutely loved, was being able to open my water and know that my water was safe to drink? That's a source of pride for me, who was raised in the city. I'm a city girl. I've had to learn in this community a lot of things about living in the country, and I absolutely love this area. This has become home, and I want to stay here. Sir, could you address my question, or is that not appropriate?
No, basically, you can direct your question at me and then members of the board.
Yes, sir, I'd like to know how you came to the decision to be neutral on this decision, on this situation that we're being faced with.
Well, I think that when you first came up here and you say that you don't have all the information.
I do not, but as of today, I will make it my number one priority to get all the information. But I just want you to know that I'm a businesswoman, and I'm not an expert on fracking, but I know enough about that compression station and fracking to be against it right now as we speak, sir.
Thank you very much for your time.
Mr. Chairman, would you address the compressor station?
Can I mention one
Yeah,
thing?
well,
on it?
any
The
commissioner
compressor
can-
station is what you bring up. Now, that is one resolution that we have passed as a board, asking that compressor station to be relocated. To date, I'm unaware that that resolution has had any success. We received a letter back from them stating their stance that the compressor station was located in an area that was based on the distance from where it needed to be, and that that's where it was going. So the board has taken action against the compressor station to no avail. Much more than a resolution, I'm not aware of what we can do.
Well, I'd like to add a comment.
Commissioner Wainwright.
On the compression station, not to just, we have talked to our representatives and our senators. It's more or less, it's in their hands. I mean, and as an individual and resident of there, I have expressed concerns about the pipeline, but more so, and the action that this entire board has taken was yes, to move, relocate. We didn't want the compressor station located in your area. Mr. Perung and some others have come several meetings ago, and I think that they've made a lot of efforts on their own as well, in addition to us. Our county, we asked our county attorney to have some discussions as well. So I mean, we have begun, and we're still making efforts, or at least I am, and I feel pretty certain the rest of the commissioners are still making efforts with that particular item. That's something we felt like we could do, impact. The gas line, everywhere I've talked or everywhere I've been, it's pretty much, as to use Commissioner Bashaw's word, to no avail. That doesn't mean I haven't quit. I'm still studying all the documents. I'm still looking at everything. The comment about emotion, that goes back to the last meeting, and that was, people were asking me about going out there to the site. Well, I have been out to the site, and I go out there by myself. I don't want to go out there and everybody doing this in this one ear, and there's nobody opposing in that ear. I'd rather just take all my documentation and study it and go out there and look myself, and that's what I've done.
Well, I appreciate your support, and I know I speak for most of us in this room that we will do whatever we can to help you and help this
And
community.
I understand your compassion, or not your passion about this. I'm very proud of the water that we drink and the air that I live in. I live on the farm, and I'm excited to be there. The Lord's blessed me to stay there, and I want to continue to be there. So I understand what you're saying. I appreciate you coming up and speaking to this. We'll be happy to share whatever information we have with you.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.
I have spoken to our representative, Elizabeth.
If you're going to make it longer than a couple words, you need to come to the podium, okay? And I'll read your name out anyways. We'll welcome up Joe Perrone, President of Security Safe Company. He's going to discuss with us Sable Trail Workshop, discuss security of site. As my property is beside the proposed site, I had my land x-rayed and found confirmed sinkholes, and am concerned. My company, 30 years in business with over 30 employees, and health issues, 2 diabetic children, vibration, and noise. Well, listen to it. And
Good
state
evening,
your
gentlemen.
name.
Joe Perrone, Security Safe Company, address is 7111 216th Street. I am at the corner of 49 and 216th Street. And we did. There was numerous that went to go see our representative, Elizabeth Porter, to address some of the issues, realizing the handcuffs in the county to say, okay, well, let's go on a state level. And she was quite overwhelmed the fact that none of us that live around the generalized area were actually notified. Again, when we said Sable Trail, we thought maybe it could have been a bike trail or a horse trail. But what happened was it was all permitted under the Hildreth. And so nobody in the O'Brien area knew that this was coming into our environment. So I spent my hard-earned money to actually have the south side of where this land is not x-rayed once, but 3 times now through Caltech, a company in Lake City. Everybody knows Mr. Brown came out, and I'm loaded with it. Any vibration whatsoever, and again, Randy's not here. I brought the x-rays to Mr. Harris so he could see any vibration of the land at all. I'm gone. I mean, I'm going to lose my trees. I'm going to lose my house. You got a siren that goes off if the pipeline bursts. Less than a minute, it goes 2,000 degrees, will be incinerated. I protect thousands and thousands of people's homes and businesses in our relationship with the county, so now my records are unsecure. My employees, again, I personally went down to the compressor station in Bell in between Trenton, and I measured myself, and there was 40 feet from the center line of the road to the first pipe that came out of the ground that even a semi that had a flat tire could hit the pipe and explode. It was me that proved through the state fire marshal's office, through Walt McGraw, that the nearest person that even has a hazmat team would come from Duval County, and their assets would take at least 3 hours to get here. So this isn't now just about that. It's just Sable Trail is not providing our county even safety for homeland security, or if somebody that were to come by for terrorism. It's deeper than that. It's not a pipe in the ground. I am personally not opposed to that. I am not opposed to progress. It is my company that has supplied that our jobs are higher incomes, that we bring jobs to this county. We don't want to leave. But the issue is, it's beyond because of the anomalies in the ground through that region where the aquifer is where the compressor station is, with 2 80,000 horsepower motors of just sitting there screaming. It is, go down there and listen to one. It's amazing. So it's not about progress. I think that we can go to an area, Suwannee County has lots of area that's not as populated as this particular site is. So that's what I'm opposed to, not the pipeline. We got to have progress, but, to put a compressor station where there are so many elderly and so many young people, to me, and in an area to where we know the land will fragment, and it's just ridiculous, because Sable Trail has not done any studies whatsoever on that at all. They have not made their first x-ray of the property. So, Thank you, gentlemen. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Mr. Brown. Next, we'll welcome up Deanne Miracle.
Thank you for the opportunity. Deanna Miracle, 7712 Southwest 32nd Lane, Jasper, Florida. I want to thank the commissioners for agreeing to do the workshop and go see the area where the pipeline is going to cross. The documentation that they provided is not what's actually there in regards to sinkholes. I would also ask that you also look at the crossing of Highway 90, right where it goes to Pilgrims, right next to Pilgrims. You'll see a very huge sinkhole right next to that proposed crossing. And you can visit Falmouth Spring, and you'll see that that is part of the Falmouth Cathedral Cave system that has naturally collapsed. And when they drill the pipe under the Highway 90, there is potential that it could collapse again because they are crossing it. And I have petitions, if anyone is interested in signing a petition in opposition to the pipeline. You can see me after the meeting. Thank you very much for the opportunity to speak.
Thank you, Mrs. Miracle. Now, next we'll welcome up Chris Miracle.
My name's Chris Miracle. Address is 7712 Southwest 32nd Lane, Jasper, Florida. I'm a board member of Walls Watershed Coalition. Walls is also the waterkeeper affiliate for the Suwannee River. I don't know if the upper Suwannee River and all its watershed. I don't know if you're aware of that. But as a waterkeeper affiliate, we're duty bound to protect that waterway and the watershed. And I do want to thank you for going forward with this workshop. And as my wife Deanna was saying, we're prepared to show you what Sable Trail didn't do. And to address Mr. Wainwright's concerns about not hearing the opposition, I'm prepared to show you documents from Sable Trail and documents from other professionals that have evaluated the site. And then you can see it for yourself and make up your own mind. At our last meeting, Mr. Bashaw, Commissioner Bashaw, you had told me that there were rules and laws in place that Sable Trail had to follow, and when they followed them, then they should be able to put the pipeline through. Is that a pretty fair statement?
I would say to the best of my recollection.
So if in fact you see that they did not follow the laws, what would your opinion be then?
I can only comment on the current project at hand, and I have spoken with the governing agencies that would oversee it, and they feel like that with their oversight and direction that it can be done in a safe manner.
Okay.
Above and beyond that's who we have to rely upon. And when I talk about rules and regulations, I'm talking about the rules and regulations that I discussed with those governing agencies. Now, if Sable Trail or the company has faltered in the past, which is probably what you're referring to, does that mean that they will this time? Perhaps yes, perhaps no.
No, I'm not referring to in the past. I'm referring to this project right here. I'm referring to, I can show you documentation where they have failed to do the proper due diligence at several sites. And just like Mr. Prone said, they did an X-ray at the compressor station. They should have. But we can discuss all that at the workshop. and to address Mr. Wainwright's concerns about what you can do. He says we can't do anything. Well, actually, you guys have more power than the general public. You can pick up the phone and call FERC and request that they get down here and see it for themselves too. You can ask them all kinds of questions. You have the ability to do that, even though the comment period is gone. You can make comments to them, and they have to listen to you. They don't have to listen to us.
Thank you, Mr. Miracle. I'm under obligation to tell you that time has expired.
Okay.
Thank you for your comment.
Thank you.
All right, moving on to administrators' comments and information. I'll just tell you that our current administrator is, Mrs. Johnson, there's nothing, you have submitted no comment card, you know the rules. Right? Thank you, Mrs. Johnson. I just wanted to make a quick comment. Our county administrator has been ill over the past week. First of all, with the stomach bug that's going around, and then secondary, he caught just a horrible respiratory infection and is not able to be with. We wouldn't want what he has. Let me tell you that. So it's, I told him, I said, just stay home, and we don't want that. So that's why he's not with us here this evening. Moving on to item number 20, board members' inquiries, requests, and comments. I guess we'll start with, what do you think, Commissioner Wainwright?
Mr. Chairman, I don't have anything at this time. Thank you.
Commissioner Gamble?
I just want to go back to what Commissioner Sessions touched on during commissioner items. He caught me off guard with it, so during the meeting, I jotted down a couple notes. You said we'd bring it back up on another meeting, but if we could, I wouldn't mind us moving forward with it and having it on the next agenda. I think he may be on to something that during times of need, times of emergency, it may not be a bad idea to have someone that can step up. And I'm not suggesting that we go out and hire and create another position, but I don't think it would be bad conversation for us to look at maybe expanding the role of some existing staff, increasing their job title to be able to step in and fill in if the time or the necessity calls for it.
Okay. I don't have a problem with it. I mean, yeah, I mean, I don't mind putting it on the next agenda. I mean, I don't have any problem with that.
Fine with it.
Thank you, Commissioner Gamble. Commissioner Fleming?
I don't have anything, Mr. Chairman.
Commissioner Sessions?
I don't have any comment.
Okay. All right, my only comment is that due to the time-specific nature of item number 16, which I pulled from this agenda, so to speak, I'm going to recess this meeting just for the general public's information, and we will reconvene this meeting next Tuesday morning at 9 a.m. to consider item number 16. And that will be advertised appropriately so that everyone knows. And that was under direction from the attorney, Mr. Pravat, but you can add any comments that you might have to that.
No, that's fine. I also would like to, since I had requested item 8 be pulled for this because of the particular format, I'd like to also have it be placed upon the next meeting as well.
Okay. So what we're going to do is...
Recess meeting.
Today, we're just going to recess this meeting and then reconvene next Tuesday at 9 a.m., and that will be advertised appropriately. So we will not be entertaining a motion to adjourn at this time. So anyways, we'll see you next Tuesday. We're done. You can come up here and talk to me.